Okay, let's start. Dear students, today we are going to see chapter 4 in unit 1, Indian Women, written by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, our former and first President of India. I'll show you the introduction and then we'll explain you. You see, this one. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was born in 1888 and lived up to 1925, was the first President of India and also the second President of India. He tried to bridge Indian philosophy with Western thought, supporting Hinduism against Western criticism. Of course, he loved Christianity too. He taught philosophy at Presidency College, Chennai, and later in the University of Mysore. After successful academic life, Dr. Radhakrishnan, he started his political career quite late in life. He was elected as the first President of India in 1952, and second time also he was elected. His birthday is celebrated as Teachers' Day in India. So you know this history. And another important thing, Dr. Radhakrishnan was born in Tirthani. Dr. Radhakrishnan was born in Tirthani. He studied there in somewhere in a school there. After that, you see, he became professor of philosophy in Chennai, Presidency College. Then, of course, total world came to know about him. Total world came to know about him, and we read about him in history. We read about him in history. So we have to understand certain things about him. You see, if the first Prime Minister of India is Nehru, who was a well-known person throughout the globe, and whose family we read in history that Nehru was born with silver spoon. Nehru was born with silver spoon. That is what we read in the history. But rather, first President of India, he was born in Tirthani, very near to Assam, just 15 kilometers. He was born here, he studied here, and he became very popular person throughout the globe. Very popular person throughout the globe. So we have to understand that the background and our background that Tamil Nadu has contributed first President of India, and whose birthday is celebrated as the Teachers' Day. You see, now it is 20th of August. Now itself I am going to shops to get greeting cards to my school teachers, as well as some of my college professors, because they were very precious to me when I studied in school. They were very precious, so I value their service. I every year I respect them. Somehow, why this Teachers' Day is celebrated? Because Dr. Radhakrishnan was a well-educated person, not ordinary person. He was well-educated. And when Nehru's birthday, November 14th, was taken as Children's Day, people went and asked him, what about you, and what about your birthday to be celebrated? What do you suggest? When he said, my birthday can be celebrated as Teachers' Day. So he expected his wish that his birthday can be celebrated as Teachers' Day, and so we celebrate his birthday as Teachers' Day. In this lesson, you see there is a tradition for Indian women, and we pronounce it as women, it is plural. if we pronounce it as woman, that is singular. We understand that you see, even in India, women had problems. If you ask Tamil process, they will tell in Sangha, in the period of Sangha, they had in the period of Sangha they had equal rights for women also. In the period of Sangha, they had equal rights for women also. They would tell you, but after that, some changes occurred and some problems occurred, and some problems occurred somehow. The women lost their identity and the respect in the society. Even in British history, if you see, in the earlier days, women they had no right to vote. They had no right to vote. They had no right to vote. You see, today is in today's world, if women thinks they will change the ruling party, that much power they have. When in one of the elections, they showed it in television because one political party leader's wife, who was, of course, he didn't contest that time. When people were asking her, whom did you vote? She said, I voted Vijaykanth. Why did you vote him? They were asking. She said, you see, he will fight very nicely in cinema. He will ask for rights in the court. We had seen that in cinema, so I believed and I voted him. Of course, so there are reasons. But if women, they think they will change even the ruling party, that is the condition today. That's the condition today. That is what the status of women today. They can change the world. That much changes have occurred. Physically, they may be a little weak, but you see, they can change the world. That's what we will see. What he is telling about women, and look at this about the prose. There is a small explanation given in this title. Womanhood has been highly respected in Indian tradition because this was written years ago. He wants to convey us, he wants to tell us that we must not mistake Indian tradition thinking that women are not given equal rights as like other countries. Not like that. Women they had a high respect in Indian tradition. They have equal right to development. They have equal advancement in life as men do. So you see, certain periods in the history, here this line says, certain periods in the history have neglected the education of women, have neglected. Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and some of them, they respected women like anything. This is the lessons pages what I already sent to your WhatsApp. So you may go through, so that you may go through. Indian tradition has generally respected womanhood. பெண்களை இந்திய சமுதாயம் நன்றாக மதிக்கிறார்கள், மதித்திருக்கிறார்கள். That is what we read in the first line itself. Though occasionally we find derogatory references to women. What is that derogatory references? What is that? What do we see about this? Because there are some references. There are some references we see negatively too. Even God is regarded as half man and half woman. For example, Artha Nariswara. Artha Nariswara. So even God was made up of in imagination. God was made up of man and woman, and he quotes an example. And Manu Smriti declares that where women are honored, their gods, there the gods are pleased. When where they are not honored, all works become fruitless. You see, in first passage he makes it clear, if a woman is not honored, that is all, there is no respect. That is all, there is no respect. That is all, there is no development. Even God is not pleased.
That is what he is explaining. Even God is not pleased if a woman is not respected in a house, if a woman is not respected in a country, if a woman is not respected in a state. That is what he means it. In those days, if you read the, so see, since I am teaching English, I teach my students the social history of England. In social history of England, what do we read in England? What do we read? There, even they didn't give respect to women, and they were not allowed to vote in the elections. Such kind of problems were there in England, and they were not allowed to vote in the election. Today we may think that women can change the world, but if they were not allowed to elect in the election, you see, then that is all. They who will vote? Only men will vote. If men votes means they would get amount and would do. You see the election process today in India. What is going on? So things are to change. Things are to much change. So we have to understand things. The woman must be respected. That is the what the points he is making with. And next passage you see here, women are human beings and have much right to full development, and have much right to full development as men have. And they have intellectual means மூளை அறிவு, brain wise, even they are good. Spiritually they are very good. We should not emphasize the sex of women, and even we do not emphasize the sex of men. That means the only the mentioning the gender, you are female sex and they are male sex, not like that. Even they have infinitely more important than the physiological peculiarities. We have to understand, in all human beings, irrespective of sex, the same drama, the same place, the same press, the same intention, the same mindset is there, and we have to understand. So women cannot do some things, certain things what man can do physically. She cannot lift, she cannot run like a man, she cannot run vehicles like a man. That was long back, but nowadays it is all happening. Nowadays it is all happening. It's all happening nowadays. We see they run, even they are pilots. They join in army, Indian army. There are women. We see there are several people who work in the army. They work and work. We see in many places. In many places we see. So such kind of thinking, which may physically sense because they are weak, we must not think that they are once for all weak. Not like that. So they have equal rights and they are equal. And in the next passage we see, in early times, education of women was encouraged. The goddess of learning is Saraswati. In the Vedic age, women enjoyed equal opportunities for education and work, and they were eligible for Upanayana or initiation and Brahmacharya or study of Brahma's knowledge. In certain periods of our history, education of women was sadly neglected. So even in the houses, what do we see? There are people who neglect the women, as the women's education is neglected in many cases. Women's education is neglected in many cases. They have to, nowadays you see, I worked in engineering colleges for 15 years. For some 15 years I worked in engineering colleges. There you see the crowd used to be boys strength 75% and girls strength 25%. In any course, the same scenario. But nowadays things are changing. We see the strength equal in classrooms. Sometimes girl strength exceeds boy strength in colleges like our college. You see, so he says women were respected in India in the earlier period, in the Vedic period. So only we see goddess Saraswati was put as a goddess of education or goddess of learning. So that respect was given. So you must not think Indian women was not respected, not like that. He tells not like that. He tells so women were respected. And he is also saying there were people like Swami Vivekananda, people like Ramakrishna, they respected women like anything. Since because Vivekananda respected women, they had seen one thing. What they had seen, there was Annie. There was a lady called Annie. No, she joined this movement and supported him. He named herself as Nivedita and joined. You see, such development. He joined her as a devotee of Vivekananda. So that much possibilities were there in those days. They respected. Even Gandhi, he engaged many women in his struggle for political liberation of Indian economy and Indian freedom fight. He involved several women in those days. He involved several women in the freedom struggle. And while spiritual life and social service are open to women, we see people like Indira Gandhi, we cannot forget. Nehru's daughter. She was the Iron Woman of India. The total whole world respected her like anything. Even today, we have some political leaders noteworthy. In our period, we had seen Jayalalitha, who ruled like a lion, that much strong and authority and uniqueness. And she had the dictatorship. Even very big men, they used to fall down prostrate before her. That much leadership. Of course, Indian society raised up such big people too. And there is Mamata Banerjee, there is Mayavati, of course, Sonia Gandhi, even many other leaders. Of course, we need not recognize the political leaders. Of course, they are there for us. They are there as examples. And another person is for love and affection. Mother Teresa, our fifth unit is totally speaking about Mother Teresa. If you go and look at the book, we see the total fifth unit is speaking about Mother Teresa. So a woman has that much valid part in this scenario in this Indian society. So what does he mean? What does he wants to tell us? What is he insisting us? Don't think that India has neglected women in the earlier centuries. Not like that. India respected. So only Saraswati was made as goddess of learning, and woman means that doesn't mean she is only there for marriage, and she is not there only to satisfy man. Not like that. So in Vedic age, women had an important place. That is what he is trying to tell us. Each is a self which requires the other as its complement. The division of the sexes is a biological phenomenon, not a historical event like the division of races and classes. Male and female constitute ordinarily a fundamental unity. Even in Bible, what do we see when God created Adam? When God created man, he found that he is alone and he must not be alone. We must create a woman to trouble him or to help him. So he created woman. After in the generation in creation of God, if you read, he created everything as a pair. எல்லாமே ஜோடி ஜோடியாக தான் சிருஷ்டிச்சார்னு எழுதியிருக்கு. So that may be a dog, that may be a horse, that may be a lion, that may be a human being. God created everything as a pair, not as individually, not as man. He has not created only man. He has created also woman. If you look at Indian history, there was sati. In pre-independence period, there was sati. When a husband dies, his wife also should jump in the funeral pyre and should cast her in the fire. Such systems all came in the middle and was eradicated by our leaders. That's what he is trying to tell us. Women had to choose their husbands in those days. That tradition was there. We read in this passage. They were allowed to choose their husband in those days. It's true. And they are not bond servants. They are not there only to take care of kitchen and children. Of course, even now we see that habit in many houses and in many societies, in many races. That condition is there, of course. We can't blame that also because they have love and affection to care the children. And you see, in this passage, it has been the tendency of man to use women as an object of amusement and pleasure, even for blade advertisement, soap advertisement, paste advertisement, in everything, they show only women. Why? This is a society which treats the women as an object of amusement. Because if a man is showing his teeth for the advertisement, they won't do. They won't do, they won't buy. That is it. They won't do, they won't buy. So one day a woman is made an object of amusement. So even for advertisement, we use like that. So we have to change our mindset. That is what he is trying to tell. And the Oriental woman is not very different from other women in her innermost nature, because she remains essentially feminine on account of all her social and religious culture. She is performing well. She is doing her duties. She is building the house. She is building political parties. She leads political parties. She works as an ambassador. There, don't scribble on the board, then you will be removed. Already, one or two persons went out. And then, the large majority of women, and then the large majority of women, maybe in number, if you see, however, prefer marriage and motherhood to the life of saintliness, and science or scholarship. Of course, many women, they prefer to be mother. They prefer to be mother because they may delay their marriage. Of course, they have to get married one day. So they prefer to be mother. They beget children and take care of children and live a happy life. And the position of women in any society is a true index of its cultural and spiritual level. So if you give good position to a woman, your society is in good condition. That's the meaning. Men who are responsible for many of the views about women have woven fantastic stories about the latest glamour and instability and their inferiority to men, as well as their mystery and sanctity. Of course, I'm just reading the passage there. Don't think that I'm speaking fastly, not like that. So, in this book, what do we read? In this chapter, what do we see? Radhakrishnan, he clearly states that we have to respect women, and he clarifies that women were respected in the earlier Indian history. In between, some changes occurred. After then, it is corrected. People like Indira Gandhi came to power. People like Jayalalitha, people like Mamata Banerjee, people like Mayavati, even many leaders, even our former, one of the minister in BJP, I forgot her name, who was a communication minister, and some other people, they came up